Okay, so first we're going to look at graphing lines, inequalities versus lines. So first of all, we can see that -2, remember that indicates the slope of a line. The +1 is going to indicate the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is where we are crossing the y-axis. Notice how it's highlighted for that blue place when y equals 1. So when x equals 0, the line crosses the y-axis at 1. That's why we're calling it a y-intercept. Note we have got the y-axis over there, and then we have the x-axis. We also could see the slope being 2. So it's going down 2 over 1. That's a slope of -2. So now, what about graphing y less than -2x plus 1? It's not going to be much different than graphing a line. It just needs to be less. So first, let's think about, we can't be actually equal on the line. So let's dot out those values. And we want to think about, we have to be values less than that. So we want to shade in the area underneath the line. So those are the values that are less than. So our tips. We shade below a line when we have y is less than x, and we'll shade above when y is greater than x. Now on to completing the square. So we're given c squared plus 11c plus 18 is equal to 0. First step, we subtract 18 on both sides. So now we're going to look at this as being c squared plus 11c equals -18. So we want to make a perfect square. Think about two perfect halves of this 11c. So 11 divided by 2 is going to equal 5.5. 5.5c plus 5.5c will equal 11c. This is what we're going to use to make a perfect square. So we know that c plus 5 times c plus 5 by using FOIL is going to yield c squared plus 5.5c plus 5.5c plus 5.5 times 5.5. Now I know it's a lot to look at, so just do it yourself slowly just to see. Follow the rules of FOIL. So now we're also going to see this extra amount is at 30.25. That wasn't originally there in the original part of the equation. It now needs to be added to both sides to keep everything balanced. So remember, -18 plus 30.25 is going to actually equal going 18 forward steps and then another 12.25 steps forward. So that's going to equal positive 12.25, I mean. And now we'll take the square root of both sides. And anytime we're taking the square root of a number, we always have to put a plus or minus sign in front of the radical. We don't have to for our variables. And let's just review when we're taking the square root properties. These are the properties we can use to understand that the square root of c plus 5.5 squared is going to just be c plus 5.5 plus or minus 3.5. 3.5 is the square root of 12.25. Finally, you do these two arithmetic calculations, and we'll have a solution of -2 and -9. Those are the final results. And we can see when we graph them at -9 and -2, that's where it would cross the axis if it was graphed.